Ladies and gents, welcome to Six Figs. I'm Kyle. In today's video, we're talking about ICP, Internet Computer, and it could get a little X-rated, folks. It's going to get real wild here in May, especially in May at the ICP Community Conference when all the content creators start dropping bombs all over the place of videos that they're doing, things they're bullish on within the ICP eco. So I am shooting a documentary on how I was able to figure out that FTX hosed the ICP launch, how it hosed Ronin Networks launch, and what exactly happened and how it all came to happen. It's a crazy story that not a lot of people, actually 99% of the people, have no idea how it all went down. It was just crazy. They just saw the aftermath of what happened. But I've been flying all over the place interviewing crazy people like this person in a mask. Okay, we'll talk about that later on. Check out yesterday's video, but I'll link to this teaser trailer in the comments or the description. The Raging Cajun folks, the one and only Dominic Williams, Near Protocol, working to support chain signatures invented by ICP. It's more complex than some realize. Threshold crypto isn't hard. It's secure, decentralized setup, key resharing, etc. That's hard. How do you set up a system where like you can reliably share keys, things like that? That's just scary stuff to me. But good luck to them. Internet computer innovation always lights the way. Also, Passion Planet chimed in, said, I read that the CEO of ETH credited you for coining the term Bitcoin maxi. Dom goes on to say it's true. So Dominic Williams has gone buck wild. Absolutely buck wild, and we're going to get into this in just a second, but he debuted a little preview of Dfinity's new studio in their basement. Web3 Advocate says Dom believes in ICP so much he's created a state-of-the-art porn studio to raise money and buy more ICP. He's taking the tech to Pound Town. Awesome. That is phenomenal. But the response was even better. This will be the beginning of ICP porn, LOL. Lots. Okay, guys, I hope I can make it to that studio one day to produce some ICP porn in the name of Dfinity, baby. I'm going to be kind of talking about some projects that I think might be interesting coming up. So the other day, I was retweeted this post that Binance put out, and it's about this decentralized science stuff. And when I saw this, I just couldn't help but to think, you know, are people out there really starting to lose trust in the medical system? I went to the dentist today. I got 4 cavities filled. I don't even know really if they should have even been working on my teeth. So, I mean, like, you just have to question everything now in life, especially when it comes from like the government or medical institutions, things like that. I'm not saying I don't trust doctors, nurses, medical staff. All y'all are wild and out. I couldn't do your job for 1 hour. So the highest praise to those people in those professions. But Noble Blocks is coming to ICP. So this is like an academic publishing, research collaboration platform. It's built on ICP, 100% on chain. And they've also got something kind of interesting coming up, and that is a pre-sale. So if this is like your jam and you're interested in like this decentralized science stuff, why don't you check out the whitelist? You know, not financial or trading advice at all. But I'm definitely going to invest in Noble Blocks for sure. You know, it's just one of those things where I'm very interested in this. I'm not going to invest a whole lot, but I like to start to see one of these ecosystems, whether it be ICP, Ethereum, Near, Solana, one of these ecosystems out there is going to become renowned for this type of thing, this decentralized science type of thing. When you think about like this decentralized science stuff, Really, when it comes down to it, there is just not any chain that comes to mind when you start talking about decentralized science, at least in my opinion. So, I mean, we'll have to kind of see what's going on with this whole movement. I feel like that's kind of like this unexplored frontier. When I first started hearing about what an NFT was, for example, years ago, I had no idea that this frontier even existed. So I don't know how this industry or this sector will perform over time. Nobody does. Nobody knows, what's going to happen. So I am going to check this out and keep tabs on it. Now, this I thought was the most greatest marketing move at the expense of investors that I have seen in a long time. This gentleman named Slurf basically collected all this money for an airdrop, and then he basically accidentally burned all of the money. He burned all the tokens, etc. Then he made a huge deal about this, and somehow this blew up. And now we are seeing Slurf. Okay, it was at 65% 5 minutes ago, and now it's up 115% within the last couple minutes. But this is an example of clever marketing, in my opinion. I do believe that this was intentional because he knew how much of a firestorm this would create. And if you look at this original tweet, there's over 2.5 million views, 3,300 reposts, 5,000 likes. So you guys can see how this person initially tried to burn the LP using Solana tools, and it wouldn't go through, and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I do think that this was one of the greatest marketing moves that we've seen in a long time. And, he burned what? A couple mil? And in return, he basically got crazy PR for Slurf, which I'm sure he's holding a huge bag of. And now we're seeing Slurf go absolutely wild. So this thing was at 34 cents as of yesterday. Now it's up to 81 cents. So, I mean, it's 2x, 2.5x. But yeah, this thing is really, on the day, this thing has really climbed up in the rankings, 186. So with that said, let's just look at Slurf here. Of course, they've already got it listed. And you can see how it's on BitGet, and you can see how it got listed within the last couple of days. This thing's gone from 35 cents up to $1.41. So, I mean, I don't know. This is like playing with fire, in my opinion, 300%. We're not going to do any TA on it because, to be honest with you, I'm just not interested in stuff like that. And I always kind of stick to the old saying, like, by the time you hear it, your exit liquidity. So you have to be early to a lot of stuff. And I'm not saying that thing can't continue to run by any means, because it certainly could. But Bitcoin. Let's start calling this Buttcoin, because guess what? It's effing a lot of people lately. But, going back to one of my predictions that I made weeks ago, I do believe that Bitcoin is too far away from this Ichimoku cloud. I do think that we could see a pullback down into the lower 50,000s. I do think that we could be seeing this ascending triangle form, like I mentioned, like a couple weeks ago. I think that this could be a possibility. And I don't think that it would be unrealistic to think that there might be another year or two before the crazy bull market takes off. At least, folks, if this gets rejected here at these new all-time highs of about 73 and change. So we are keeping an eye on this, but I do think that if Bitcoin is going to have a chance at ripping back up, at least on this weekly, we're going to want to see this 50 moving average come right up like this. We're going to want to see this price move like this. Maybe with Bitcoin, you know what? We might get some sort of ascending triangle or symmetrical triangle or something like that. I'd love to see this bounce off the 50 moving average. However, we might not get this until July, May, June. So, I'm not convinced right now that Bitcoin is prepared to continue to go up. I think that we're going to see an all-time high over 100,000 this bull market. So, but I do think that, something needs to give. We need to build a foundation of support to kind of launch this rocket up into the stratosphere. And what does this mean for ICP, folks? ICP has really saddened me. Currently trading at $1.18. Now, for ICP, it's very unfortunate that we had a very nice trend from December of 2023. So this thing was almost 4 months old, which is all fine and dandy. But when it comes down to it, you can see how price action has broken this. And really, when it comes down to it, there could even be some sort of harmonic pattern that is playing out here. And you can see I have the Gone fan lines drawn up. Oh, man. Let's look at this on the weekly. I've been pretty vocal about where ICP is in its positioning on this weekly chart as well. I'm going to go ahead and just clear all of this. Okay, I just accidentally put ICP on a watch list. How can I clear this? Oh my goodness. See what happens when you take a couple of weeks off? So here we have it. We have on the weekly this 50 moving average. At least we're still up above the Ichimoku cloud on the weekly. Technically, I won't start getting concerned unless ICP falls below $5.57, somewhere in there. But I do think that there is a possibility for ICP to kind of wiggle its way down to meet this 50 moving average. And I do think that right now, we could even see ICP cruise down to the $8.24 level. I mean, anything could happen. Anything could turn on a dime. It might just be a quick wick. Nobody really knows. But at least on this weekly chart, we are starting to see this RSI start to cool off. And we've seen ICP really kind of hold its ground the last few months after this huge uptick. We are at rank 25. So still very happy with the position of ICP in this current crypto market cap. And really, when it comes down to it, we're seeing ICP chart at about 61 points. Okay, that's great on the weekly. On the daily, you can kind of see how this thing is down in the dumps at 33 points. I'm not really seeing any bullish pattern setups on this as, either. It just kind of is what it is. But we're just going to have to kind of play the waiting game for ICP and just see what kind of corrective waves to look forward to. I mean, so if we see ICP lose support at this like $11.72-ish level, $11.60 level, I mean, the next stop is $9.92. $8.24 at the 61.8. And I'm really hoping that we don't see price come down this far, but it could happen. When it comes down to, obvious, maybe if this thing pulled off some sort of reversal, really I would like to be seeing price really kind of rip through, bear with me, really kind of rip through this $16.31-ish level $17, 7 cent level. I'd like to see this break $20, $21. But we are far from that right now. So I do think that right now we are still charting a possibility of an ascending triangle. However, I am not really that hopeful that this will set up like, like we were thinking before. But one thing about this daily candle is people are buying this dip. We know this because you can see this candle wick all the way down, and it's really, people are buying this wick all the way back up. So it's going to be interesting to kind of see what happens with this. But if we see a nice bounce, I would love to see prices return to around this $16 dollar-ish level and fill this ascending triangle up and move into some of that higher territory. This is kind of a tricky time right now for crypto. Speaking from personal experience with bull markets, is that there are a lot of shakeouts along the way to the top. I'm not saying that, the top is far away. Top could have been yesterday for all I know. But usually in the Bitcoin bull runs, you'll see, 15, 20, 30 shakeouts all the way up to the top when you look back in hindsight. So we're going to wrap this ICP video up. I love you guys. Stay tuned for this documentary coming in May, and also check out the teaser. Peace. I knew what I knew and how FTX is like crooked and washing out exchanges. Protect Sam's investments and FTX and Alameda's investments, primarily in the Solana, ecosystem. But like when it comes to Celsius, like I had nothing concrete. It was just rumors, but you have something to talk about with that.
The Celsius crash. FTX and Alameda. The large percentage of the trades on FTX were fake. They were not real.